back to the Weber Kettle series brought to you by Fogo Charcoal here on Chuds BBQ, everybody. My name is Bradley Robinson, and today we're making some homemade brats on the Weber Kettle. Coming up! This is a pork butt. Just your average run-of-the-mill Boston butt, bone-in, beautiful fat cap on top. You could get a boneless butt, that would make this process a little bit easier. But then again, you're also gonna be paying an extra 50 cents per pound to have someone take that bone out of there for you. But simply enough, we are just gonna cut this into strips, get that bone out of there. That way it fits into the grinder a little bit easier, as well as chills out in the freezer a little bit quicker. Get that bone out of there, don't need that. And you can make brats out of pretty much whatever you like. Traditionally, pork and veal is what you're gonna see. Sometimes it's all pork, sometimes it's mostly veal. You can find beef brats, but today we're going with straight up pork. And I'm not too worried about the fat to meat ratio. Boston butts are usually pretty great for making sausage. That was another reason I got the bone-in one, is because all the boneless ones didn't have this beautiful fat cap on top. And we definitely need some fat in our brats. Just little cubes. Strips would work just as well. Nothing to it. Beautiful. Looking good to me. Into the freezer these go for the next hour or so to get nice and chilled out. I mean, it's not quite cold enough yet, so let's get our spices together. Starting with some kosher salt, some milk powder, that will be our binder, some granulated garlic, granulated mustard, toasted ground coriander seeds, some white pepper, ground thyme, some freshly ground caraway seed, some mace, also nutmeg would work well, and some ground ginger. And through the grinder we go. Using the coarse millimeter die. You could use the fine one, you could send it through twice. The internet has plenty of decisions when it comes to coarseness of your bratwurst. I'm going with the coarse grind today. That's because with all the protein extraction from the mixer we're gonna be sending this through, as well as the milk powder and the heavy cream that we're gonna be adding, I think we're gonna get a really nice tight bind on this thing no matter what we do. And you may have noticed, there is no pink salt in this sausage. That's because we're not gonna cold smoke it. This is a fresh sausage that we're gonna grill up, throw in a bun with some beautiful mustard, and it's going to be fantastic. Looking good. And in we go with our meat. Still nice and cold. Ooh. We're gonna let this mix for just a minute before we go ahead and add in all of our spices. We're also gonna go in with our heavy cream, pretty traditional in brats. Gonna give it that lovely color, add some great richness, and be our liquid, which is gonna help give this a great tacky texture. After a few minutes of mixing, we're gonna flip this thing to reverse and mix it in the other direction. Going on with some 32 mil hog casings today, per usual. And on the horn we go. Oh, yeah. Tie it off. Nice little knot at the end, folks. You know the drill. Snip the tip, and then we case. And as always, you can make these whatever size you like. I'm gonna go for some nice, 5-6 inch hot dog bun size, which is average. And this would be a great time to do one big thin rope and then link them out, but I really don't want to have any air pockets in there because we're gonna be grilling these off and I really don't want them to explode. But making sure these are nice and plump, cased to perfection, is just gonna make life a little bit easier later on. Must say, I like the color of these. And of course, you don't need all this gear to make sausage at home. If you have a Kitchenaid stand mixer, you could use a grinder attachment, which can both grind and case these things up. It's just gonna be a little bit more of a pain in the butt. And if this is my first sausage making video you've seen on this channel, be sure to go back and check out some of the earlier ones where I go into a lot more detail on the basics of how to make sausage, salt ratios, and all that good stuff. And just like that, we're down to the very end. We got a little nubbins at the end here. Little baby coal. Tie it off. And there we have it, folks. Some beautiful fresh freshly made brats. Did not take very long at all. That was about a 6-pound batch, by the way. So now what I'm gonna do is let these sit out at room temp for about 30 minutes or so, just to dry out these casings a little bit. If you have a fan, you can aim it at this. That'll really speed up the process. And the whole point for that is to help kind of dry out the casings, shrink them up a little bit onto the meat, but most importantly, to dry out these little ties right between the sausages. That way we can snip these all up and get them all organized in a nice little row so we can pop them in the fridge. After a nice air chill, I'm sure you can see the difference in color on these things. They are feeling nice and dry, real nice. Now what we're gonna do is just go around and snip them up. And there we have it, folks. A beautiful looking fresh brat ready to go onto the grill. But not right now, because it's really late at night. So what I'm gonna do is pop these in my fridge overnight, which is a good thing. It's gonna help those skins dry out a little bit. And just like I say in any meatloaf or burger video, all these proteins are gonna come together with a nice overnight rest, and we're gonna get a much snappier bite. But if you don't plan on cooking these anytime soon, I would say pop these in a vac seal, stick them in your freezer, and you're good to go whenever you want a fresh brat. So into the fridge these go, uncovered, until tomorrow when it's time to grill them off. Would you just look at these beautiful brats? I mean, they are perfect looking. Like something you'd get at the store. Tell you what, folks, pretty pleased with these. We'll add another half beer or so. That way I get the other half. I tell you what, folks, nothing better than the smell of brats cooking in some beer over a big pile of some charcoal. There's something just so summery about it. So we're gonna cook these for a little bit till they get nice and plump, cooked through, you know the drill. And after, I don't know, 10 minutes or so, these are feeling nice and plump, looking lovely, beautiful looking brats. Now all we need to do, finish them off on the grill. Oh, don't mind if I do. Tell you what. Again, these are pretty much cooked through at this point. We're just trying to get some color on there. Oh. You know, some of these recipes, folks, you just have to do. I'm sorry, there's just not an option. Like, you gotta do this in the summertime. Oh, that looks lovely. Oh, you can tell when they burst. Start flaring up all over the place. Oh, a little bit of mustard, why not? And we'll top it off with some sauerkraut. I really should have made my own sauerkraut, but, you know, can't win them all, folks. And there we have it, folks. Some beautiful homemade beer brats, all on the Weber Kettle. Looking really tasty. Get a little cross section, shall we? Lovely bind on there, looking real nice. I think it's time to dive in. Oh, that is lovely. Beautiful texture on there, lovely flavor. That mace and those other floral spices are really coming through, but not in an overpowering way. Perfectly salted, kind of gray looking. That's what happens when you don't use pink salt. Also, we added a whole bunch of cream to this. But yeah, it's nice and rich. The casing is nice and snappy. It's got some lovely flavor from that onion, beer, and caraway bath it was cooked in. The mustard and kraut on top, definitely a necessary step. Yeah, that's a solid brat right there. I'll tell you what. So good. Tell you what, folks, this is a great way to make some sausage. Nice, fresh sausage. Don't need to fire up the smoker. You don't need to let that cure set or anything like that. Perfect for your summer gathering. Perfect for a weeknight meal. That is a solid sausage. And that's not to say you couldn't smoke these. I'm sure these would be lovely with a nice little cold smoke on there, but not all sausage has to be a full endeavor. But without further ado, I think it's time for the official taste test. All right, y'all, that is it. That is how to make some absolutely incredible brats on your Weber Kettle. I highly recommend giving this one a try. This is a perfect recipe for beginner sausage makers or people that don't have a smoker. And just like all things, handmade, homemade brats are way better than anything you're gonna get at the store. But that being said, if you enjoyed this video, let me know by hitting that subscribe button and dropping a like on this video. Feel free to drop a comment down below letting me know what you want to see me cook next. Big shout out to Fogo Charcoal. Thank you for sponsoring the Weber Kettle series. And until the next time I see you, please go cook something outside. Peace!